dairy products affecting fertility. As you know, fertility declines as women year by year in a woman's life. If she's 22 or 23, she might say, well, this might be my time of maximal fertility, but I'm just starting my career. So I want to put off raising a family for a little while. Let me work and do some other things. And then when she's 35, her mother calls her up and says, honey, your clock is ticking. It's not going to be so easy for you to get pregnant now, and when you're over 40, it's going to be even more difficult, and that's all true. Right? Familiar? Okay, so Daniel Kramer at Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston started looking at the drop in fertility in many different countries. The drop in fertility from women, say, in their late 20s to their late 30s. And in Thailand has not a lot of dairy in its diet. That's just not its thing traditionally. And the drop in fertility during that window is about 25%. In Brazil, a little more cheese, a little more dairy, the drop in fertility is about 50%. In the United States, the drop is about 80%. And if you put in all the countries that we have data for, it's not a perfect pattern, but you get the idea that it looks like the more dairy women consume, the more rapidly they extinguish their ability to have a child. What Dr. Kramer suggested, and there's substantial evidence for it, is that the problem is that the lactose sugar, which is the most prevalent nutrient in milk, there's more lactose than there is protein or calcium or even fat. It breaks apart in your body to release galactose and glucose. And galactose can be toxic to the ovary. At least that's what we believe is happening. And in nature, this wouldn't matter at all, because how long does the calf breastfeed? Maybe 6 months. How long does a human baby breastfeed? A year, 18 months, maybe 24 months at the outset. You know, you're not exposed to this for a very long period of time. But if culturally we consume milk year after year after year, I'm 20, I'm 30, I'm 40, I'm still drinking my milk because the government tells me so, you're exposed to something that nature never would have exposed you to otherwise. And that's this lactose sugar. So Kramer suggested that it's probably the galactose. But other researchers have looked at other signs of ovarian toxicity, particularly ovarian cancer. This is a Swedish study, and they found that the more dairy women consume, the more likely they are to develop ovarian cancer. So stay tuned. I think we need a lot more research on this, but for now, many people, I don't know if you saw this just about 3 days ago, an article came out in the New England Journal of Medicine, written by Walter Willett from Harvard and David Ludwig from Harvard, really rethinking this government recommendation that everybody needs to drink milk from a cow. Okay, stay tuned. Let me talk a little bit about something that really can kill you, and that's breast cancer. Estrogens, those little pink dots, those are estrogens. And that's a breast cell, and the estrogens can sneak right through the membrane into the cytoplasm, and from there they can go right through the nuclear membrane, and they can attach to your DNA. And as estrogens, I'm talking about your own estrogens, as they attach to the DNA, they can damage it, and cause that damaged cell to turn into a cancer cell that can spread. What? Am I saying that your own hormones can cause cancer? Yeah, that is what I'm saying. Hormones can kill you. If you don't have enough insulin, it can kill you. If you have too much insulin, you can die very rapidly. Thyroid hormone, if you don't have any, you're in trouble. If you have way too much, it can be fatal. Estrogen in high amounts is linked to breast cancer. Here's the compilation of 9 different studies looking at estrogen levels in women. And as you can see, the higher up you go in the amount of estrogen, the higher the risk of developing breast cancer. So anything that adds to that adds to risk. So if I had cancer already, could diet matter? Could it make a difference? Well, there's a study called the WINS study, Women's Intervention Nutrition Study. They brought in women, more than 2,000. They all had had cancer in the past. They were all treated. They all had one thing on their mind, which is, I hope my cancer does not come back. And what they asked them to do was to reduce the fat content of their diet. reduce meat, reduce dairy, reduce oils in general. It wasn't quite vegetarian, but it was going very much in that direction, more vegetables, more fruits. And what they found is that the recurrence rate was cut by about 24%. And it implied whether they had estrogen receptor negative or positive tumors. The point being, the diet really did boost survival. And you could go further. You can really increase the vegetables and fruits and beans, and you can check out the animal products completely if you want to. So this is a study of cancer survivors, people already diagnosed with cancer. And now they looked at dairy and said, does dairy help you survive or not? What they found was very troubling. Those women consuming the most high-fat dairy, that's whole milk, butter, cheese, ice cream, they had a 49% higher risk of dying of their cancers compared to women who avoided these products. Let me be clear what I'm saying. These are women who had a cancer diagnosis in the past. They were successfully treated, and whether they lived or died depend to a great degree on whether dairy was a part of their diet. It wasn't the only thing, but their risk of dying was 49% higher if they're in the high dairy group. Okay. What about soy products? Do you hear people talk about soy? What do you hear? Oh, then it's risky. What does it do? Oh, it's got estrogens in it? Phytoestrogens, plant estrogens. And what does that do if a man eats it? Oh, it'll make him effeminate. It'll give him man boobs? You know, you could look all over the internet and you will see these, all kinds of things like that, particularly in men's health and that kind of stuff. Oh, don't have the tofu, it'll make you effeminate. Or for women, it could cause breast cancer, or if she had cancer already, it could increase her likelihood of dying. Okay. Here's what they're thinking about. Soy products do have isoflavones, and genistein is the most common one, and it does look like estrogens. And in fact, in test tube studies, the isoflavones in soy do actually attach to the estrogen receptor. And so that worried people. That's kind of how all this started. And so maybe this could cause a man to become effeminate or cause breast cancer. But we have had lots of time to study all of this. And soy clearly is not the cause of breast enhancement in men. And if you want to prove this to yourself, go to the beach in August. And a guy who's a little heavyset is stripping off his shirt. And go right up to him and ask him, how much tofu did you eat this past week? Edamame? Miso soup? Tempeh? No, he's going to say, what are you talking about? I don't know, what is that stuff? Well, what do you eat? Well, I eat burgers, I eat chicken wings, just normal stuff, I eat pizza. What has happened to him is as he has gained weight, he's got more body fat. That's a fat cell. And a fat cell is not just a bag of calories. A fat cell is a living, breathing, metabolizing factory. And what it does is it takes testosterone and converts it to estradiol. Your male hormones convert to female hormones in your body fat. So as he gains weight, he gains estrogen that goes to his breast area and causes breast, and this is not just fat, he's actually developing breast tissue, okay? So soy gets a not guilty verdict there. Now with regard to breast cancer, we have had more than enough time to study this, and women who consume the most soy have the least breast cancer. I'm talking about women who consume soy milk and tofu have about 29% less breast cancer than women who avoid these things. And also for women who consume soy after cancer diagnosis, those who consume the most soy have the least likelihood of dying of their disease. So the well-meaning but ill-informed oncologist who says, now that you've been treated for your breast cancer, I don't want you to have any soy because it's got phytoestrogens in it, you have just condemned that woman to about a 30% increased risk of mortality. Now, soy is optional. You don't have to have it. It's handy. You know, if it replaces a burger, it's way better than what it replaced. You can replace bacon with it. You can make soy yogurt and soy cheese. And one day they'll make snow tires probably out of soy. But you don't have to have it. It's totally optional, but it does not cause cancer. It doesn't make men effeminate. It doesn't do any of that bad stuff. And it reduces cancer risk quite substantially.